Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping straight into Ari Aster's latest film, Eddington. Just imagine. New Mexico, May 2020. Dry, tense.
Right. It's that recent past, but it feels almost unreal now, like a fever dream we haven't quite shaken off.
Exactly, and that seems to be the core idea, doesn't it? The film as this sort of cracked mirror.
That's what the analysis suggests, yeah. A mirror reflecting, well, a few key American problems. Our goal today is to unpack how Eddington looks at, first, the social and psychological impact of the pandemic.
Okay.
Then this chaos around truth and information fueled by online paranoia.
Got it.
And finally, the sheer tribalism and post-truth nature of our politics. We're drawing on critical reviews, director interviews, really trying to synthesize what they're saying.
And it all kicks off from something that feels almost small initially, a conflict over masks.
Yeah, deceptively small. You have Sheriff Joe Cross, that's Joaquin Phoenix, kind of weak-willed, facing off against Pedro Pascal as Ted Garcia, the town's mayor, who's all charm and tech-savvy.
And that single argument about wearing a mask, it just explodes. The sources call it a powder keg.
It really does. Ignites this war of all against all, turns everyone against each other.
Aster seems to relish that chaos, too. The film isn't just one thing, is it?
Not at all. It's described as a symphony of chaos, deliberately mixing genres. You get dark comedy, neo-Western vibes, a paranoid thriller, and some really sharp political satire all mashed together.
A self-conscious melange, as one review put it.
Precisely. And that mix isn't accidental. It's meant to reflect the unstable, confusing time it's portraying.
And that confusion seems to have spilled over into the real world with the film's reception. People are really divided.
Oh, definitely. Critics are all over the place. But apparently Aster expected that. He even engineered it, wanted the film to be argued over.
So for him, the fact that it's divisive is actually a sign of success.
In a way, yes. It means the mirror is working. It's showing something unsettling, something we don't all agree on how to interpret.
Okay, so let's get into how it reflects that. First up, the quarantine of the soul. The pandemic setting, it's clearly more than just, window dressing.
Absolutely. It acts as an allegorical framework. A kind of national stress test is how some analyses frame it.
A stress test?
Yeah, exposing cracks that were already there in society, tearing away that thin veneer of community.
So the virus didn't cause the problems, it just revealed them.
Exactly. Like pressure revealing a fault line in a dam. It showed how fragile things maybe already were. That mask mandate refusal by Sheriff Cross, it's a direct echo of real-world arguments.
Right, the whole freedom of choice versus collective responsibility thing.
Precisely. It plugged right into that existing tension.
And the film really leans into the psychological side of it, too. People trapped, not just physically, but mentally.
Trapped in their own heads, anxieties cranked up by staring at screens all day. Aster apparently said their brains were addled by the internet.
You see that with Sheriff Cross, right? The doom scrolling?
Yeah, just soaking in this swamp of conflicting, often conspiratorial online information. It's chilling because it reflects reality, how constant digital input can really mess with your head.
And we saw that happen. Research showed spikes in loneliness, anxiety, depression during lockdowns.
Yeah, the film taps right into that. That isolation breaks down any sense of shared reality.
Yeah.
That collective delusion of community, as one source puts it. Social trust just evaporates.
So the small town ideal, everyone knows everyone.
It flips. It becomes a threat, not a comfort. Aster wanted to show people becoming unreachable to each other, totally siloed off.
Which brings us to Louise Cross, Joe's wife, played by Emma Stone. Her story seems central to this quarantine of the soul.
Absolutely. She's called the film's allegorical heart, maybe the strongest symbol of the pandemic's emotional wreckage.
How so? What's her starting point?
We find her already quite withdrawn, depressed, disassociated, living with her mother, Dawn, who's deep down the conspiracy rabbit hole. And there are hints of past trauma, abuse, which makes her really vulnerable. Fertile ground is the term used.
Fertile ground for what?
For the digital siren song of Vernon Jefferson Peak. Austin Butler plays him. He's this slick, new age online influencer, kind of a QAnon-adjacent grifter.
Okay. So she gets drawn into his online world.
Yeah, and her pull towards him is shown as a consequence of that immense stress and vulnerability pushing people towards easy answers, towards misinformation peddlers.
And eventually she leaves Eddington with him, pregnant.
Yes. It's described as the film's most devastating act of secession. She chooses the cult's promise of certainty, however manufactured, over the chaotic, violent reality of her town.
Wow. Yeah, that really embodies that idea of the soul being quarantined, cut off.
Completely unreachable.
Okay, so that's the soul's quarantine. What about the gospel of the algorithm? How does that play out? You mentioned the film's structure starts to change.
Right. As the politics in town get uglier, the film itself starts shifting. It morphs from this political fight into a paranoid crime story and then just spirals into this crescendo of violent absurdism.
With things like staged Antifa attacks.
Exactly. And that progression is deliberate. It's meant to mimic the way conspiracy theories work, specifically something like QAnon.
How so?
Well, those theories often link totally separate events into one big overarching story, a totalizing narrative framework. Everything fits the secret plot. The film starts doing that narratively. Aster said the film becomes gripped by their worldview.
And the characters who drive this, they're like archetypes of this digital age.
Very much so. You have Dawn, the mother-in-law. She's the quintessential online radical. Just consumes and parrots these wild theories from YouTube.
Delivering them like gospel truth.
Yeah. Laughable falsehoods with the evangelism of the newly converted. It's both funny and terrifying.
And on the other side, you have Vernon Peake, the influencer.
Right, the grifter prophet. He's got these slick videos telling people to reclaim your identity. He's cynically producing what Dawn is credulously consuming.
The producer and the consumer of misinformation. How does the film show that dynamic leading to real-world violence?
Well, Sheriff Joe Cross's breakdown is presented as a kind of case study. His violence isn't just random. It comes from this deep need to regain control.
Control over a world he feels is spinning away from him.
Exactly. Joaquin Phoenix mentioned Joe feels like he's losing grasp of his relationship and this idea of himself and what it is to be a man. He feels powerless.
And psychological research backs this up, right? People turn to conspiracies for certainty, for control, for feeling good about their group.
Precisely. There are these epistemic motives needing to know, existential motives needing safety and control, and social motives feeling good about your side.
So when Joe fabricates the rape accusation against Ted and then kills him and others,
he's essentially authoring a new reality. He's taking control back in the most brutal way possible, rewriting the story to make himself the one in charge, the one who imposes order, however twisted.
And then there's the arrival of those masked extremists. That felt like a major leap.
It's called the film's most audacious satirical gambit. The idea isn't that they're literally Antifa or some specific group.
They're more symbolic.
Yes, they're the physical embodiment of the digital phantoms everyone's been seeing online, like those vague reports of masked gunmen causing chaos for liberal groups.
So the online fears literally materialize.
Right. They show up on a private jet, which just adds to the absurdity. It literalizes narrative radicalization. The film's arguing that this online stuff, this gospel of the algorithm, it does bleed into reality.
Produce senseless stochastic terrorism.
Yeah. Where the online rhetoric creates an environment where violence becomes more likely, even if no one explicitly ordered it, the imagined threat becomes real and terrifyingly so.
Okay, so the algorithm seems to be winning. How does this tie into the Western genre aspect? You mentioned Aster is playing with that. Let's get into a Western without heroes and the algorithm's victory.
Yeah, he's very consciously using the Western framework. That genre is all about American myth building, right?
Yeah.
Foundations, heroes, community.
Building America.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Aster flips it. He says, the Western is a genre that's contending with the building of America. I do feel that we are living through the collapse of something.
So it's a Western about collapse, not building.
Precisely. It's the death rattle of the a pluribus unum myth, out of many, one. Here, the hero is deeply flawed and the community just eats itself.
And the central fight between Sheriff Cross and Mayor Garcia, it's not really about policy, is it?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's presented as pure affective polarization. It's personal, it's tribal, based on old grudges, dark secrets, just mutual animosity.
Can you define effective polarization quickly?
Sure. It's basically when political disagreement becomes personal dislike and distrust. It involves othering the opposition, seeing them as fundamentally different, maybe even immoral. It leads to aversion, just a gut-level dislike and moralization where your side is good, their side is evil.
So their fight isn't for compromise, it's for...
Annihilation of the other, total destruction, no middle ground.
And the whole town feels like this post-truth landscape. Facts don't seem to matter much.
Not really. It's all about emotional appeals and tribal loyalty. Look at Joe's slogans on his car. You're sick being manipulated. Get this virus out of office.
Yeah, the typo is telling in itself.
Right. It's pure, facts-free emotional assertion. It's meant to hit you in the gut, not the brain. And that fake rape accusation, that's called the textbook definition of post-truth politics.
Where what feels true or what you want to be true trumps reality.
Exactly. And it works for him politically in the narrative. Felt truth leads to success.
So in all this chaos, who actually wins? You mentioned this data center subplot. Solid gold Magikarp.
Yes, that's key. It seems minor, but it's crucial. And the name itself, solid gold Magikarp, is apparently a real technical term.
For what?
For an AI language model messing up, basically, generating unexpected or erratic outputs. The name itself signals digital chaos.
Okay, that's clever. So how does this data center resolve things?
Well, initially, Joe fights against it. Ted supports it. Standard local politics, seems like.
But at the end...
At the very end, after all the violence and breakdown, we see Joe. He's the mayor now, but he's paralyzed. And he's presiding over the grand opening of the data center.
And Dawn, the conspiracy theorist,
is literally his mouthpiece, speaking for him. It's this incredibly bitter irony.
So the winner isn't Joe or Ted, left or right?
It's the algorithm, the data center itself. It's presented as the new god that the cult leader Vernon talked about. It's the physical form of that inhuman, amoral social media logic that actually benefits from all this polarization.
It feeds on the chaos.
Exactly. It consumes all the human ideology and spits out, well, erratic outputs. The people, the characters who fought so hard, they just end up as broken puppets, serving the machine that ruined them.
Wow. That is bleak.
Deeply pessimistic. The analysis stresses there's no catharsis, no redemption, no lesson learned.
Just a new kind of crazy.
Yeah, a new, more perverse and stable state of insanity.
And we see the aftermath a year later.
Joe's the mayor, but paralyzed, with Dawn speaking for him. Brian, the BLM protester from earlier, has flipped and become a prominent conservative influencer. Cynical pivot.
And Louise.
Gone. Swallowed by the cult. And the data center. Open for business, humming away. The engine of it all.
Aster himself said he's heartbroken about where we are and totally lost.
Yeah, and the film seems to reflect that despair. The message isn't subtle. Everyone has become insane, and maybe that's just normal now. The new American normal.
So the film is a diagnosis, not a prescription. It holds up that mirror to May 2020.
And suggests the fever has not broken. That the issues it depicts, the isolated souls, the power of the algorithm, the broken politics, aren't just a bad dream we woke up from.
It's the landscape we're still in.
That's the argument. We inhabit that landscape now.
A cracked mirror, as you said at the start, and the final image described in the analysis.
The rictus of a skull smiling back. Dead, but somehow triumphant.
Chilling. Leaves you wondering, what does that grinning skull mean for us right now? Trying to navigate all this information, all this division.
Definitely something to think about long after you've seen the film. A really provocative final thought.